Canadian cities and their American equivalents. The United States and Canada have a lot in common. Sharing the world's largest land border, our cultures tend to blend into one another. And while the Great White North may always be seen as America's quiet upstairs neighbor, plenty of cities here are on par or, dare I say, even better than theirs. With that said, there's no denying that both countries boast a lot of similarities to one another from coast to coast. Similar enough that if you're ever looking for a home away from home across the border, you have more than a few options. Need proof? Here are the American counterparts of 6 large Canadian cities: Montreal and Boston. While they make up the two ends of a bitter hockey rivalry, Boston and Montreal are actually quite similar. Both port towns have renowned local markets, European-style cobblestone streets, and large Irish populations. When these two cities are not going to war on the ice, they're basking in the rich history surrounding them. Honorable mentions: New York, Philadelphia, New Orleans, Toronto, and Chicago. Both these bustling metropolitan cities can boast about their Great Lakes, tall buildings, and diverse communities. They're also very serious about their respective sports franchises. While many say Toronto is the New York City of Canada, locals will agree that more similarities can be found between them and the Windy City. At 2.8 and 2.7 million, their population sizes are also roughly the same. Honorable mentions: New York, San Francisco, Hamilton, and Buffalo. While these cities are a short drive away from one another, they also both hold strong identities as industrial, blue-collar towns that border big cities. Both towns are also crazy for their respective football teams. Honorable mention: Pittsburgh, Vancouver, and Seattle. Shipping harbors, majestic mountains, and gloomy Pacific Northwest weather are some similarities these cities share. Comparisons between these two towns have been made for decades, and the fact that they are so close to one another makes them the ideal counterparts. Honorable mentions: Portland, Denver, San Francisco, Edmonton, and Houston. You often hear about Albertans being compared to Texans. Between having an abundance of cattle and oil, both freedom-loving areas have similar big cities in Edmonton and Houston. Not to mention, the NHL's Battle of Alberta is reminiscent of the friendly, yet heated, rivalry between the Dallas Cowboys and Houston Texans. Honorable mentions: Minneapolis, St. Louis, Calgary, and Denver. Not much needs to be said upon looking at these two photos. The similarities are striking. Throw scenic Rocky Mountains, nearby oil rigs, and the fact they were founded a mere decade apart into the mix, and these two western frontier towns become eerily related. Honorable mentions: Phoenix, Houston, Dallas.